Welcome to the Lockdown Economy, a social nonprofit initiative by the think tank AlterContacts to help small businesses and self-employed professionals overcome the challenges of the pandemic and reactivate the economy. My name is James Vestal, and today our guest is Jonathan Hanwit, the founding partner and chief engagement officer of Think Parallax. Hello, Jonathan. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right on this Wednesday morning.
Glad to hear it. What do you do as a business?
Our business is a branding and communications agency, and we're focused on sustainability. So typically big publicly traded companies have a department that's focused on environmental and social impacts, and they hire us to tell the story of all the work they're doing to their different audiences, their audiences being investors, customers, consumers, and employees.
How long have you been doing it?
Believe it or not, we've been in business for 17 years. We've had a focus around purpose for about 10 years and really a very specific focus around corporate sustainability and communication for 5 years.
Sounds like a long time. Where are you based?
And our office is here in Encinitas, California, and Encinitas is like a beach town that's like in the north part of San Diego County. But we have employees in San Francisco, up in Washington, Park City, and then one just moved to Florida. So now it's becoming a very distributed workforce, which is, I think it's a pretty cool thing. It's one of the benefits, I think, of what's happened through this whole lockdown situation.
How many employees and clients do you normally have?
Right now, honestly, it's about 15 and 15, which is just a coincidence, about 15 employees and about 15 clients. But granted, hopefully the business continues to grow and both the number of clients grows and the number of employees.
I hope so too. What did you do on the business front during the lockdown?
Well, on a lot of different levels, we did a lot of different things. I think in the beginning, immediately we went to having a remote workforce. So we were working on Wednesdays and Fridays from home. And so we transitioned just to full-time at home. That was back in March. And the transition was more or less pretty seamless. We got better at obviously doing only video conferences opposed to calls, I think, just to stay connected and thought of ways to kind of engage with our culture. And then that was the business. And then we definitely had to completely evolve our marketing to become entirely virtual because we had 9 events planned from between March and I think June that were in person, whether we were speaking, going to a conference, or actually having our own little events. So that was a very big change in terms of like the sales and marketing efforts that we were putting forward.
What have you tried to stimulate the business and attract customers, and what worked and what didn't?
That was one of the things. I mean, so we just immediately were like, wow, what are we going to do? Because we had big plans to meet lots of people in person and to push our brand out there, all these events. And so the things that have been working are we doubled down on all the virtual events. So we have something we call perspectives, where we have events that are just like with a panel, and then a guy named Mike from my team moderates it. And we talk about relevant topics, which is basically a webinar that gets our brand out there and then gets us to meet more and more folks. And then we double down on, we have a couple thousand folks that could potentially be clients of ours. And we just really focused on like, how do we engage with them on like a consistent level? And on top of that, how do we put out more thought leadership and articles and content into the world of like sustainability and communications, just so we position ourselves as a thought leader in this space. And so when someone looks out to the world that potentially is one of those people, they have us top of mind and reach out to us. So it's been pretty successful because October, November, and now December, we've gotten a lot of asks for proposals. So at some level, it must be working.
If you took time off, what was your thinking behind that decision?
I took a little bit of time off, but I think for our employees, we took first and foremost, we were like, your mental health is most important, because the amount of, I think, anxiety and pressure and stress and depression that was facing and is facing everyone around the country and around the world. We're well aware of that, and your mental, your personal life and how you're doing mentally is more important than any job. That's my personal belief. No job is that important. So we said on certain Fridays throughout the summer, and I think even maybe in April and May, I can't remember exactly, but we just took Fridays off. Like, hey, just take a Friday off. And if you needed a mental health day, if you just flat out needed a day off because you just really needed the time off, we were pretty much like take a day off. So we've been doing that, I think, with our employees, and we still have the same mantra of just like, do what you need to do. And if that might also be like, I need to spend the day with my kids because there's no help, or, hey, I need to, for me, go surfing for the day. I can't take it anymore. I need a break. And we've been very open to that. The dog.
How is your business going now?
The business is going well. Should I close the door while the dog is barking?
Maybe. Yeah, I just close the door while the dog is barking.
Okay, 1 second. Inconvenient. I don't know if you picked that up. So what was the question you had?
How is your business going now?
The business is going well. So we lost a couple of clients. They were all food and beverage clients right when this hit. And then after that, most of them we kind of re-signed and kept the work going. And then, like I mentioned, we kind of pushed our sales and marketing pretty heavy all through, April, May, June, July, August, September. And then we've been getting quite a few new proposals and winning some new work. So knock on wood, the business is pretty solid as of right now, and next year is looking pretty good.
Glad to hear it. Do you know how your customers and competition are doing?
I think our customers, the people that we're in touch with, we have a very good pulse on what their business is doing, both because we're talking with them usually weekly, but then we stay attuned to, like, with Google alerts of what is actually happening in the news with the company. So we I think we are pretty in touch with what our customers are doing. For our competition, and our competition is pretty broad. So the ones that are not here, like say in my general vicinity, I don't really know how they're doing, but I do know a few other marketing, branding, communications, ad agencies that are, say, in Southern California. A few of them have struggled. I know one of them went from like 30 employees down to, I think, 6. And it's just like us. We lost, let's say, 3 out of our 15 clients. Luckily, our portfolio was diversified enough, and we could kind of make do with what we had. So that kept us afloat. But I know a few folks in our industry are really struggling.
What is the outlook on the coming few months?
The first quarter of 2021 looks great. We already have the work plan. We know what we're doing. The sales are good. We're busy, and we're even hiring a little bit. And then we just need to continue pushing forward with our brand awareness and our sales and marketing to make sure we get the numbers we want to hit Q2, Q3, and Q4. So it feels really good. And I think more and more, we're in the world of communication and sustainability. And I think the world understands that businesses need to be more resilient, granted, given what's happening in the world. So there becomes more and more of a need for companies to communicate the work they're doing around being a resilient and sustainable business.
Name 3 things your business needs help with.
Our business is perfect. We don't need help with anything. I'm just kidding. The 3 things we need help with, I say, it's always difficult for the recruiting piece is for us to find the right people. I think that's an issue for most businesses, just finding really the right fit of the right experience, not too experienced, that understands our space and maybe is a good culture fit. So the recruiting piece is a really difficult thing. I think we have a really good culture. I'm the boss, so I have a skewed view, but I think people, for the most part, like working there, and we've created a pretty inclusive, fun culture. But I think that we, like other businesses, really need to work on how do we create and evolve a culture of this remote work, this remote workforce, because it's very hard to stay connected. It's an international issue, I'm sure, global issue. So a culture, and then I think we need help with really continuing to evolve the conversation under understanding how diversity and inclusion fits in both with our company, with our employees, and with our culture, but also externally how we are working with our clients. And I think that that's like an ongoing conversation. And I have these great conversations with a woman on my team. She's probably 20 years younger than me. And it's just always eye-opening to understand her perspective, because as you get older, it's hard to see things in different lights because you've known it a certain way. And then you're like, is that really how you're thinking? So I think she's really made me aware, especially in addition to what's happened with Black Lives Matter and everything that's gone on over this past year, of just how much work we need to do collectively around understanding how to become more inclusive on all levels. And so those are probably the three biggest things that we need to work on, in addition to evolving our process, productizing some of the work that we do, and then, getting more work, which everyone is always focused on. So but those are three things that I think really will help really weave together the company and the culture kind of cohesively.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us about your business?
No, I mean, I think I appreciate the opportunity. I think it's great to hear what's happening in the space from what the work that you guys are doing. And it's great to, I think, really understanding how companies are using creativity and innovation to survive. And I think that this is, a once in a lifetime, hopefully, circumstance, but what it's going to do, it's going to make us as a business, and potentially, millions of other ones out there, really understand what's important, both for the values of the people that work there, but also the business itself. So A, get our priorities straight, and then B, figure out how to be more innovative to stay in business, because you got it. We're thinking of new ways of doing things and maybe new sort of services to sell, just because the market continues to change, and we need to be resilient and sustainable, just like everyone else. So I think being part of this with you and hearing from other businesses is a really useful tool, and I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you to everyone who joined us today. Feel free to contact Jonathan using links in the description of the video. I invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel. In the coming weeks, we are going to share many more insights with you. Stay tuned.
Thanks.